Yes, I would like to speak, let's say, in two roles. First of all, I'm president of the European Digital SME Alliance, as you have mentioned, but I'm also entrepreneur. So let's say a real small and medium enterprise entrepreneur. We have around 200 employees and we are a software company. And so I think it's very important if we look to the role of SMEs in the digitalization. I think it's very important to divide, or I want to stimulate to divide this topic also into two parts of the SMEs. In one part of the users and one part of the enablers of digitalization. This means the user are the general SMEs of all branches and all industries. They use digitalization to become more digital and as Hubert Gambs said, also more resilient at the end. But on the other hand, we have the market side of the enablers, the second side, and the enablers, they are the digital SMEs, and this means this is what I'm representing with the European Digital SME Alliance. We really support the most jobs in the digital economy in Europe. Nobody knows, it's not Google, it's not Facebook, it is the digital SME companies. Thirdly, I think it's very important to understand that digitalization is a process of two steps. The first steps, we call it also a short-term step. This is the optimization. We do this since 40 years. We have new software solutions, enterprise resource planning software, or a lot of optimization. We call it optimization of processes which are there. But I think the very important step is the second step. And the second step is a digital transformation. And this means, in our definition, a long-term partnership. And this means really to invent new digital business models. And I think there is a problem. We always talk about the boost of digitalization because of COVID. And we forget very often that the boost is only in the first part, in the optimization. So that's kind of collaboration tools or communication tools. In these areas, we get a boost of digitalization, but we know from our studies that a lot of really future projects, digital future projects to invent new digital business models are postponed because of COVID. So we must see this also differently, I think. And I think it's very important to see that we must hold the digital sovereignty in Europe. And so we welcome the targets of the European Commission fully. But to hold the digital sovereignty in the B2B sector, so the B2C, the business to consumer sector, is lost. We all know this. But the business to business consumer is the backbone of our wealth. And this is SMEs. And to hold this digital sovereignty in this area, I think we must really use the technology made in Europe and not only use technology made in the US. Of course, I think StreamYard we are using now is also from the US, and Zoom is from the US, and Microsoft Teams. But we have a lot of tools also from digital SME companies which really work. So I think it's very important to understand that digital sovereignty means to shape the digital future and not only to use digital tech. So I absolutely agree with Hubert Gambs to say that we must impact that SMEs adopt new digital technology rapidly, but I want to add that it might be good if it is European-made technology. On the fourth point, I want to mention, of course, that the digital SMEs, so the enabler side of the market of SMEs, we are not. You are very often talking, not you, but all the people are very often talking that the SMEs are a kind of a victim of the digitalization. I think when we are offering new digital technology, we are really in the driver's seat, and we can be a pacemaker as digital SME companies, as provider of technology to digitalize the whole SMEs, because there is a long-term partnership on eye level from our companies, from all the digital SME companies to the SME companies at all. Well, of course, and we welcome the 4 targets of the digital decade about skills, about infrastructure, about government, and of course also about business. This is mostly for us. Of course, Hubert Gambs mentioned this, but I want to stress, of course, that we really need a focus on SMEs and not only, let's say, a kind of lip service. We have a lot of lip services in the past for SMEs, because we are all used that all the SMEs are working, but I think this will change in the next 10 years if we don't change things. And last but not least, I just want to say I love the targets, but I would love them a little bit more if they are more ambitious. They are ambitious, but they are 2030. This is 9 years ago. And for instance, if we want to have number the EU unicorns, we want to double the number of EU unicorns in 2030. Yeah, now we have about 50 to 60, and the US has, in the whole Europe, and the US has nearly 250. So if we double them until 2030, so sorry, then we are still less than half they have now. I don't want to know how much they will have in 2030. So I want to have more nearer goals and targets. That would be very great. And we as a European Digital SME Alliance, we are open as a discussion and a constructive project partner. And so I'm also looking forward to this discussion today. Thank you very much.